must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya, from the Political Command Center. This is Dr. David Matanga, all the way from one of those African countries, shining in the sunshine as usual. Africa, plenty of sunshine. Why are we behind every minute? We come out from slumber and see things happen. Across in Kenya, the Republic of Kenya, is none than Miriam Ogutu. Good morning, Miriam.
Doc, a very good morning to you. Good morning to our panelists and good morning to our viewers wherever they're watching us from today.
Thank you very much. It looks a very jolly Friday. And across here in Lamu, maybe, I thought Professor was already in Lamu. Because usually he goes there to do conflict resolution management. Professor Gerard Onyari, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, my fellow panelists, our viewers from wherever they're watching us from this morning, the afternoon, or evening.
Thank you very much. Back in the legacy trend in the county of Kiambu, Sharon Gitonga, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga, my co-panelist, and to all our viewers watching across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Good Friday today is a day for relaxation, no hard politics. It is going to touch you and Miriam today. Family, women, the boy child, Douglas Kirimi, the ward man, MC, ward councillor, one. My God, I don't know which time. If this man passes this election, wow, I would have graduated, we would have got our prayers correct. Douglas Kirimi from Umeru, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. David Matsanga, to Miriam Ogutu, Professor Jared Onyari, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, Sharon Gitonga, and Oresi Sanata Misha. Thank you, Doctor, for being here on the show. A very good morning to also our viewers across the world, depending on where they are watching us from. Thank you.
We have a lot of your people, supporters, who always call me personally. Some send messages that please help son, give him prayers. We shall come to your rescue. Time is not very far, but it is very far. But it is, October is still far. We shall come. You keep it there and get the seat. Thank you very much. Joseph Nyachama, doctor, the man himself who talks it, the man who teaches it. Last night you told me something different. Onyari, you missed this one. It's very, very, very interesting. And we always kill each other when then we turn around and say, who killed you? It's not, you know. And in the 2007, Miriam, do you know the person who killed who? Are they not here? Are they not at the bus park? When you walk around and find the guy who caught your wife and raped, he's there. What do you do? This is the life we are going through. Professor Nyachama, Dr. Nyachama and Professor Onyari and the rest of the panel. We are in chaos. You know, we are forgotten already. And Professor Joseph, Dr. Joseph Nyachama, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga. Good morning, Miriam, with your great work. Professor Nyari, Sharon, Douglas, Ortawish. It's my pleasure. As Dr. said, indeed, it is a bright Friday morning.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Comrade at arms, not in arms. Comrade at arms. Thank you very much for struggling together. We shall be there very soon. Things are shaping up. Don't forget the 24th of September. Does anybody on the panel know what is going to happen? What is happening? I don't think. Please get these answers quickly. Somebody should be answering me. 24th September, something happens in The Hague. Did you know that? Mr. Chicheru goes on trial. What about if Mr. Chicheru said, I plead guilty, don't waste taxpayers' money? We look at that, Miriam, note it down on Monday, because things are moving so fast, my dear sister, so fast. Thank you very much, Joseph Nyachama. Across in Narok, near Mara Reserve, Safo, Mara Reserve, I don't know where they are together. The animals came from Tanzania and they took Tawish completely. We don't know whether he's submerged among the animals of the Mara or near Mara, Narok in Kiligoris. Tawish, good morning. Tawish, are you there? You gave us your signal and then disappeared, but you come back later. Thank you very much. Miriam, let's take it going. Today's topic, today's show is unfiltered. And feel free, please. Then the words said here does not mean your home, does not mean your house, does not mean your family. It is the words of the show. I want to make that disclaimer. If you are a single parent, fine. If you are divorced, fine. If you are married, fine. If you are not married, try to get married. If you are not, try to be careful if to choose your partner. These are some of the topics that are here. If you're a church goer, don't get annoyed with me, because the church, I've been a church warden, assistant warden for 36 years. Onyari, don't you give me one clap? 36 years, assistant warden. How many beautiful ladies do I see in that church? But do I come out and tell that I shared a child with one of them, so give me help, ye God? Is that the church you want, Onyari? Is that the church we want? That those are the things, hard facts. The Jitonga, don't get scared. These are hard facts. The bishop comes out to say, hey, nilifanya mbaya lakini iko hapa kitu, lakini mimi na depend kwa watu, kwa Wanyali kunipatia katu. So for me also, you help me. How do we help you and the bishop? You are the bishop telling us morality. Is it the church that wants to negotiate? Miriam, take us through the papers. Me have opened the box. Bring it on.
All right. Thank you so much.
And before you bring it on, there is another gentleman who has come on the show. Javani Karanja, good morning, Bwana, from Nyanyuki. We know you are very busy with Baba, but don't leave us. We held you while Baba was around. We held you. So don't disappear, my dear brother. I see you on other platforms, but then here this is your home. Good morning, Javani Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. David Masanga. Good morning to our viewers and to our listeners as well, and to my fellow panelists. Good morning, and always a pleasure being on Punchline Africa television. Indeed. And I have not abandoned the television. I'm here.
Indeed. I have not said you have abandoned. I think you are on the same cause together with us. The only thing is that we are in Jericho. You are still in Capernaum. Whoa! You see Capernaum, where Jesus fed 5,000 people and left. Some of them did not eat his own food. Miriam, take us through the papers. Headlines only. Then we hammer these topics. We want to hammer. Don't be shy. Say it as it is. And be short. Cut it short, please. So that we finish and go home for the holidays.
Okay. All right, the Standard newspaper, the main headline, Eating Chiefs, the shame of Rio scandal. Just as there's no perfect crime, that of the eating chiefs of Rio Olympics, led by the then all-powerful Chief Demission Stephen Soy and then sports CS Hassan Wario, has been exposed. The story is on page 6 and 7. IBC, why Raila made U-turn on Chebukati. The story is on page 25. Broken ties, Ruto's offer to Uhuru. The deputy president, who has never in the past acknowledged frosty ties with his boss, now ready for reconciliation. The story is on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. We go to the Daily Nation and the main headline, Me Too. Ruto wants Uhuru handshake, and he says he does not have conditions to that. The story is on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Kingi's turnabout on links with ODM. The story is on page 6. And Jamie Wanjigi versus Raila Odinga, real battle or mere theatrics. The story is on page 5 of the Daily Nation. Nowhere to hide for deadbeat fathers as proposed law tightens grip. The story is on page 3. How Wario got away with slap on the wrist. The story is on page 7 of the Daily Nation. And on the Star newspaper, why Uhuru Ruto previous reunion efforts collapsed. The story is on page 6. And the ex-CS Wario freed after paying 3.6 million Kenya shillings on page 9. And couple denies killing guard at Dutchman on page 3. And all cases to be completed within 3 years, says Koome. The story is on page 2. And that is what we have on our headlines this morning.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for exactly being quick, operative, precise. The motto of Punchline Africa Television. We are always, I think, don't forget, Miriam, to read decisive, calculative, and something that you have hidden behind there. I can't read it. Decisive, calculative, and help me, because you have hidden in the thing.
Precise, it's precise.
Yes, decisive, precise, and calculative.
Yes.
Professor Nyali, piga mambo up. And let's be quick, cut to your point. Ruto says he wants Uhuru handshake. Hey, he also now believes in handshake. Piga up, Nyundo.
Dr. Masanga, what the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Samoei William Ruto, is seeking for is just hot air. Hot air in the sense that, Dr. Masanga, is he not the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya? You don't go to the office, you continue hosting people in the president, in the official residence of the Republic of Kenya, and you tell now you want a handshake, Dr. Masanga? That is a mockery. That's an abuse of what a handshake means, Dr. Masanga. Let me tell you, Dr. Masanga, if President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta shook hands with the Prime Minister, that's enough. President Uhuru Kenyatta represented the government, and Dr. William Ruto is part of that government. So what the judge is asking, and what I know, Dr. Masanga, you know, the way things are unfolding, the money which has been going to the judges may not be there. So people want to do things which will put themselves. Be it as it may, Dr. Masanga, let the Deputy President go back to office and let him just walk to wherever he will find the President and say, my boss, I'm sorry for what I've been doing. And that is all. Let us not make a big fun out of it, Dr. Masanga. And let me tell you, Dr. Masanga, you don't abscond coming to duty and then you say now your employer, he comes to look for you to have a handshake. That is very strange. My background as a trade union unionist and as a labor relations person, it does not work well. It doesn't make any sense. You divide your boss and then you say now unataka kwenda bila condition kufanya nini? And then is supposed to say kama kanisa mmesema mimi nimeacha ile njia yangu ya ukorofi ya ukora na uongo, mimi sasa naunga mrais mkono tufanya kazi tuhudumie wa Kenya. That's what I submit on that point. Next on Wario on corruption.
We are coming on that.
Okay, thank you.
If you are still having time, Kirimi, on that point, let's see. What is your view? Does the Deputy President need to come out and say, I need a handshake, I'm ready. Who chased him? He chased himself. Does he need a handshake?
Thank you, Dr. David Masanga. For us and also for the people of goodwill across the world who support the President of the Republic of Kenya as the head of state and government, and also as the President of the Republic of Kenya, elected by over 8 million voters across the nation, who have given him a mandate that has translated for over 9 years now into a social contract between the people of Kenya and the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. We need to be able to tell the world the truth, because William Ruto tells us and responds to bishops who have also been feeding from his corrupt hand, who have been feeding from his rooted public funds. The bishops, I want to come back, have an handshake with the President of the Republic of Kenya without conditions, bishops, without conditions. And we need to know, why did the Deputy President invest millions of shillings by paying MPs from Central Kenya? Some of them who are my friends have confessed to me that on Sunday, when we receive our envelope from Karen, I will send you something, my boy. I will give you something because we are going to insult the president on Saturday and on Sunday. And they have been doing that perfectly for the last 4 years, insulting the president and doing everything that they could to be able to insult the President of the Republic of Kenya. And at this point, we ask ourselves, which conditions did William Ruto think the president is going to put on the table? And I preempt that the president would also unleash the kind of respect and also unleash the kind of William Ruto coming out clearly, like Professor Jared Onyari has said, cleansing himself in public and saying, I washed my dirty linen in public, I have been corrupt, I have been able to corrupt the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and I am truly sorry. I ask my boss for forgiveness, and I want to come back to the fold, because even my 2.2 million votes encouraging nation cannot take me to State House. I'm backing on President Kenyatta's backyard over 8 million voters to take me to State House. That makes it 10 million. That is what William Ruto should be telling us. William Ruto has now seen that he cannot be able to go anywhere with a man that he has been demonizing and accusing of abandoning him, a man that he has been able to demonize his legacy, a man that he has been able to fight for over 4 years now, a man that he has told MPs to insult his mother, insult his family, and insult the whole of his government. Now William Ruto comes back and says, I am coming my hands without conditions, and I don't want to be any conditions to be put on the table. And Dr. Masanga, as I concluded my point, why should I trust the same bishops that have been receiving millions of shillings every Sunday from William Ruto's hand? Why should I trust these bishops who have not said anything good about the president, who have always sided with William Ruto because he has been giving them preferred public funds and rooted public funds from public coffers, Dr. David Masanga? Why should we trust these bishops? And we need to be able to ask ourselves, has Kenya not been progressing as William Ruto was insulting the president? Kenya has been going on well. William Ruto is a selfish politician, together with the clergy that are asking for William Ruto to come and have an handshake with the president, because even the president said when the deputy president ran away from government, he has been over-delivering on his mandate and he has been very peaceful. We have seen the president has been at peace when this deputy president has been insulting him, including the mother. Dr. David Masanga, William Ruto can go out of government, but an handshake between him and the president is a selfish ambition for him to propel himself to State House that is not based on delivery of services and working for the people of Kenya under the social contract that the two gentlemen, the president and his deputy, were elected on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. They were elected on a ticket. The photograph of the president was the one available on the card. He had to be his deputy, but he never. He turned around. He went. He bought people. We have evidence. And thank you, Kirimi. You have brought a lot of evidence. Now, Chama, before I come to the lady, Joseph Nachama, Doc, what is your view on this? In summary, the man wants a handshake. Are you in for that stupidity?
Dr. Masanga, thank you very much, and my fellow panelists. First of all, allow me to make a statement here. Number one, I agree entirely with Professor's point of view that the handshake between the President and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the President represented the presidency, that means government in place, and Raila Odinga opposition, and they brought the nation back to peace. It is mischievous, by the way, the deputy. Even in disrespect to say, I also want a handshake. But you are both handshaked. What a greater disrespect. In fact, is he conscious about the statement he made? Do you see a sign of disrespect? Let me say this, Dr. Masanga. The handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga was a statesmanship statement. Why? I don't agree with the handshake is seeking and reconciliation is for this reason, Dr. Masanga and my fellow panelists. All statesmen are politicians, but not all politicians are statesmen. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are statesmen because they brought the country at peace at that moment. Why do I say so? It is because them, the two, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, or the president himself, is a statesman by virtue of that act of handshake. Many may not agree with me, but I classify him as a statesman because through that one swap of handshake, there was peace when the country was facing imminent corruption. Why do I call him a statesman? Because a statesman looks at the future generation, but the politician looks at the next election. So Uhuru looks at the next generation, Ruto looks at the next election. So reconciliation is not possible. It is not possible.
You made your point.
One is looking at the next generation, one is looking at the next election. How can you even talk of reconciliation for what? One is a politician who is short-sighted, one is a statesman who is foresighted. The difference are beyond, in short, reconciliation because the vision is divergent. The vision is divergent. Reconciliation at this stage, Dr. Masanga, is not possible. Lastly, Dr. Masanga, before I submit, the deputy president said, niko tayari asubuhi na mapema vile conditions, and then he forgets and start giving a condition, wale wakora wengine waliingia ndani, then you are giving a condition. What a mess. In short, Dr. Masanga, at this stage, the deputy president is being mischievous. There is divergent of vision between his boss, who is President Uhuru Kenyatta, and himself. So they should not waste time, the clergy, to talk about reconciliation. Look at how events even followed each other. They issued a statement, then the guy called the guys to his home to say, I am ready. Look at these events clearly.
Thank you.
You will see it is just mere politics.
Thank you, Dr. Nyachama. You've made your point very clear. In fact, the sequence of events were very, very clear. And I don't know whether, Miriam, are we still on?
Yes, we're on. We're on.
Yeah, because we seem to be, Doctor went off without summary. Javan Karanja, Doc has raised this very serious. All of us on the panel so far, we agree. Yes, we all need peace. Yes, but we don't need a handshake now. You have already done the damage. You are coming back to cry to us, and even you know he went further in the church, in the same place, telling us that there are people who you think you will pass like that. Where Ruto? Where you think you will pass like that? Where? You are not going to come like that. You have belittled us. You have belittled everybody. You have belittled Uhuru Kenyatta. You have told Mwaura to insult Uhuru Kenyatta's family. Don't think we have forgotten. You paid them. They were insulting in your presence. We know. But you are not also going to insult everybody who has read better than your children and yourself. We have read books also. People who are doing strategy around Uhuru Kenyatta have also gone to school. Which school did you go to, apart from the degree which was written by somebody for you? You can't even plant one plant. Eh? Well, mister, we have not told you the words we have for you. You will come and shake your hands. But people have not told you what you are supposed to be told. You know, this side is very civilized. Hiyo madegree walikuandikia hapa Nairobi University, wachana wewe. Even people who have written it have confessed. Wewe wacha. We are just keeping quiet. Watu wana keep quiet mzee. Just look for your votes. Lakini usikuje kusema iko watu. Hakuna mtu, wewe mwenyewe. You fought the president, your president, not us. What did you, where did the things go wrong? So let me bring in Tawish. Are you on or you are off? Samuel Tawish.
He's having a bit of a challenge with his network, but I
think okay, Javani Karanja.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'll say that the first handshake that is still holds, that we recognize as the people from Mount Kenya region and those from Rift Valley, is the handshake of 2013 between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto that brought peace in these two communities. And that handshake still holds today. That is why Deputy President is able to come to Mount Kenya region and sell his agenda without anybody throwing stones to him, as they did in 2010 and 2012. Therefore, that handshake still holds because you are still enjoying the fruits of that handshake. Therefore, this other handshake that the Deputy President through the church that he is calling, I don't know what is it supposed to bring on board, because this handshake comes to bring peace or to bring something on board. Because when you look at the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto and Raila Odinga, this country, that handshake settled the political dust. It brought peace and tranquility. People are able to associate and to socialize without really looking at their tribes. These days, when a person from Mount Kenya region goes to Kisumu, they are welcomed as a brother, and the same and the vice versa. Therefore, I don't know the end results of this handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto will bring on board, because from my look of things, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been able to deliver his presidential mandate, to deliver his agenda and his manifesto without the help of William Ruto. Therefore, at the end of the day, this handshake will mean nothing to the bigger picture of people of Kenya. It will not bring anything that will better the livelihoods of Kenya. Then the Deputy President has gone out to say that he only supports the hustlers. He has hustlers and God. I don't know why now he feels he needs a person who he termed as dynasty on his side. Therefore, this is political hypocrisy. This is political conmanship. And the church that the Deputy President is using is a church that has lost its moral authority, because it's the church that has allowed these politicians to go and accuse the president forcefully, to insult the president, to belittle anybody who is associated with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, after all this time, for the last 4 years, the church was silent when Deputy President was sabotaging the president. Why now, when you're heading to 2022 general elections? Now, after Deputy President realizing that he is losing grips in Mount Kenya region, he is losing the ground in Mount Kenya region, after realizing that Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro will not help him deliver the Mount Kenya votes, now it's the time that he wants President Uhuru Kenyatta to support him, to salvage his political career, and maybe I'll give him a soft landing as he seeks the president in 2022 general election. And that will not happen. And I think President Uhuru Kenyatta has said that he has been able to achieve a lot of success in his second term without the deputy president than he did in first term. And finally, the statement that deputy president issued yesterday, that statement alone, he is giving some conditions that if I'm allowed to go to speak to President Uhuru Kenyatta, I will do it without any conditions. The first place, by him saying that he does not want any conditions to be given on his side. What if President Uhuru Kenyatta refuses to have that handshake? Deputy President will extract some political points from that statement and go around the country telling Kenyans that I was ready for reconciliation, but President Uhuru Kenyatta refused to sit down and negotiate with me, refused a dialogue with me. That is what Deputy President is doing. He wants to extract some political sympathy from that statement. He wants to extract some political points, some political goals he wants to achieve through that statement. Therefore, the President Uhuru Kenyatta and his team should be tactical and know how to deal with this man, because he will go around the country saying that the president is not willing to have a dialogue with his deputy president. I submit.
Okay, thank you very much, Karanja. You raised some cardinal points there, Miriam. On a serious note, you can see someone is playing the brains of people of Kenya. Tawish, I don't know whether you have come back or you have put there for window dressing. You have left us. Tawish, are you there or not? Samuel Tawish. Okay. Joseph, sorry, no, Sharon. Any comment on this?
Yes. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Matsanga, and my co-panelist. For me on this issue, I find it a mockery and hypocrisy of the highest level. And unless conditions are set whereby at the first place, the deputy president must be willing to denounce corruption, tribal mass murders and terrorism. He must also be ready to return whatever that he has looted from public resources and private citizens. I also say that he must stop defending corruption suspects and join us to support the war against corruption. Another thing I would also say, he also must be willing to denounce arrogance. From his statement when he said that the president is surrounded by wakoras, showed how much he perceives the president on having no brain capacity to choose whom to engage in national matters. For me, that is should learn as a lesson of that pride comes before a fall. So I also do not agree with the handshake unless we have conditions in place. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Sharon. It is very serious not coming from you. You are always the modest. But he called us Wakora. Is it? Yes. Wakora, okay, thank you. Wakora, but why is a Mukora whose exams are written for? So he went to Nairobi and said he had a degree in plants. Can he plant one plant? Wachana na hiyo mambo. Let's leave it. Ruto, you see recently Ruto told us, mnakumbuka anasema Harun Yadini is a businessman worldwide. Where is the businessman now, Mr. Ruto? Where is he? Why are you not going to Turkey to call him to come back? You are a liar. You are a very big liar. I don't know. Kenyans, it's unfortunate you are born with this guy, but you are a liar. This is the man, is a liar. You know, he said Harun Ayadin is a big businessman. Why are you not going to Kampala? Get a plane and go to Kampala. I challenge you. Yes, go and now organize for Mr. Harun to fly to Entebbe Airport. Senior, you have mastery of President Museveni. You have taken over. You are very good friends. You are born together. Wewe, unangojewa. Uganda wanangoja wewe. Enda huko. We are even saving you by telling you this. Uizi tupu. Huyu mtu mwizi anamwambia watu wengine wakora. Yeye ndiye mkora kwanza. from his days of universe amekora, kukora watu kabisa. T-shirt kora, nini tu kora. Huyu deputy president gani huyu? Wachana, wewe deal with Uhuru Kenyatta, but don't deal with us. Don't touch some of the people who have stood by Uhuru Kenyatta are very knowledgeable and they have their families. Their families don't operate like your family. We don't want to go into your family activities. Yeah. Wachana wewe Ruto. Ukora gani hiyo? Unasema sisi ukora? Watu wakora kweli wanadili with Kenyatta, we are ukora. Then why did you join him? If that language cannot work. Miriam, let's move on. Wario, a man who carried calicos to Brazil. Miriam, before I condemn, I want to make this disclaimer. I went deeper to look at Wario case. Wario misappropriated only 3 tickets. Are you getting me? I am one of the few people who have condemned the Wario, but I went back deeper to find out the real charges from the DPP and the DCI. 3 tickets. But I want to ask now questions. Where is the PS for sports? Senor, why did we refuse to charge the PS for sports at that time? 2, the sentence given to Mr. Soy is very good. In fact, you should have doubled it to Waluke. Because I'm told he's the one who swallowed the money. According to the records, he swallowed the money Ruto style. Wario, 3 tickets. As an investigative journalist, you don't do things halfway. I went deeper to find out, Miriam, that the sentence, why? If I were Wario, I would not even appeal. Because in appeal court or in the high court, Wario could find that the sentence is even more is added on his sentence. So if I were Wario, I would just keep quiet and say, okay, I live life to life. I might not be, you have made your money, you can go back to teaching, nobody would refuse you. But to hold a public office of politics, you forget about it. Because you have been sentenced to 6 years, isn't it? The sentence is equivalent to, even if you pay the fine, it is like you have worked a sentence, isn't it? So the Constitution of Kenya is still required. That is my disclaimer. Wario on the squandered the 3 tickets. Mr. Soy ate all the money. Wario carried concubines, it's true. But he called only 1 concubine on top of what he had. But 3 tickets. Medium. So let's see when we are analyzing this. Is the sentence fair or not? I think we are touching one of the topics, isn't it? We have crashed how many topics there on our list. First of all, Medium, go through the list for people to know. Pick the ticket because we don't want to go back. We have done how many? So far, the politics,
all
the
right.
sentencing.
So we've looked at the newspaper headlines and we're on the Kenyan politics, where the sentences equal to the economic crimes, and then corruption, what is wrong, the law or the judiciary, and then after that we'll go to church and politics, which I think we've talked about what went wrong, and then we'll go to changing roles of men and women in the society. So we are looking at corruption and the sentencing, I think, and if at all it was fair.
Yeah, there you are. So, Professor Nyari, pick it from there. We have not the sentence.
I will address on this and I will step out shortly. But let me just have this to say that, when it comes to the laws fighting corruption in this country, Dr. Masanga, it is a mockery and it's a joke. And that's why I would say that the BBI reggae is on board. We will come back and Dr. Masanga and put stiff penalties. In this country, you just go and find people, they steal from you, you give them a fine and they pay and they walk scot-free. What have they learned, Dr. Masanga? So the laws we have in this country, Miriam, we have discussed it before, even they are before Parliament, is that the laws are weak. So you hammer so that he goes in and the sentence is also fair for 16 years and he doesn't pay. You should go in and return our money, Dr. Masanga. That is what I want to hear. Not that you are paying the fine and you go home scot-free. Dr. Masanga, we hammer you in, we come for our money. And that's what BBI was almost trying to address. So, Dr. Masanga, when you say that someone has abused an office, the money was stolen under his watch. You are even being courteous and a gentleman that he took 3 concubines. That is a serious offense, Dr. Masanga, which is supposed to be hanged. You just give him someone 6 years and then he based and works and you saw him just crying and he became an hero.
No, I was balancing the argument, Prof. So you people who are going to discuss.
You are hearing me, Dr. Masanga, that I will continue pursuing BBI and saying that corruption cases must go very fast. And and by the way, I have not recommended the Chief Magistrate Elizabeth Osoro. This is the kind of judges we want in this country. If they find you with evidence, they hammer you and send you in. And remember the case for Waruka is supposed to be serving sentence. And the court of appeal is doing a lot of nonsense. So what we want to say to the High Court? So what we are trying to say is that this is in the right direction. And the Matakome, I can now see that she said 3 years. And this case, which has been dragging Dr. Masanga from 2016, at least it has concluded on that. We are not after people going in. And then so people not be construers. But we want to see cases being concluded.
Is it a crime?
So that we don't just, there are some cases, Dr. Masanga, which is going on and you don't know whether they ever concluded.
Yes.
So we need to do something with our laws so that even if you take your concubine and you think you have done is arrest offense, Dr. Masanga, it is like when you have got a glass of milk and the housefly comes and dips inside, Dr. Masanga, do you continue taking that milk? Let me submit of that point.
Thank you very much. The crimes committed, are they equivalent to the sentence?
Yes.
Tell me, are they the presiding magistrate said she has been lenient. Otherwise, if she went full throttle in 30 years, abuse of office in 30 years, yes, you have seen in the Constitution. She has been lenient because of the concubine issue of 3 concubines. But you see the point here I was trying to make, to bring is a Friday. A man carries women ugly from here and then takes it to Brazil. Surely, Brazil has got the best women on planet Earth who dance salsa and so on. Tall, very beautiful. I've been to Rio de Janeiro. I have been in all those cities, nightclubs. I've danced there. How do you carry a calico from here and deliver a calico in Brazil? What? And waste the taxpayers' money. Are people normal? That's my worry. Let's move on. But they say love is in the beholder's eyes. Miriam will tell me that, and Sharon, I will keep off because that is the domain. You might, one man is meat, is the other's poison. One man is poison, is the other's meat. So to a cheerful, but the point that I'm making, Douglas, Kirimi, and the Chama, and Tawish, and Sharon, Miriam, is surely do you need to carry calicos from here? At least you carry your wife, but not calico. If Wario carried the wife, I would have no problem. But he carried a calico. Calicos were given tickets. You know what a village calico is? Because once this lady arrives in there, do you know what we call tourism? Tourism is not going out by plane and seeing the animals. Tourism means you see beauty. So if you carry an ugly lady to Mauritius, an ugly lady to Seychelles, what holiday are you having? I'm asking, what holiday? What is tourism? Is holiday beauty, seeing a new scenario. Carry your wife. Don't carry an ugly woman to take to Mauritius, because in Mauritius, the breakfast served with ladies coming around to see you eat breakfast. You will be wasting your $4,000 of carrying an empty shelf to Mauritius. So why did Warigo carry these calicos, pay the tickets to go? One man is meat, is the other's poison.
And just before the next panelist comes in to comment on this story, I think there is important detail here that we should not miss. On Wednesday, he sat pensively in the courtroom as the trial magistrate declared him guilty of involvement in the 55 million Kenya shillings Rio Olympic scandal, in which officials pocketed cash meant for athletes representing Kenya in the global sports test. And the trouble look, however, changed suddenly when the court yesterday sentenced him to 3.6 million cash fine or 6 years jail term. Now, the former CS jumped in joy and hugged his lawyer as well as his supporters who had attended his sentencing at the Milimani court, meaning the 3.6 million cash fine. That was really nothing to him. So he jumped with joy. It was just a slap in the wrist. We should not miss that point. So if we have this lenient sentencing in our courts, which are not punitive enough, are we encouraging more corruption, or what are we doing here?
I think we are encouraging corruption.
Correct.
I agree with you, Miriam. That is encouraging corruption. This Wario, in fact, considering the ugly calicos he carried, he should have got more years. We have encouraged the corruption. He even jumped and did a UDA sign.
Yes.
You know, that's a UDA. But don't worry, Wario. You left London, a teaching job, having done your master's degree and a PhD in Birmingham University. You came here, you became a thief. When I tried to talk to you in Addis Ababa, you remember, with the former state house controller, you looked as if you were above the earth. Where are you now? You're a criminal. Criminal sentenced. Kwenda. Thank you very much, Miriam, for raising that. 6 million is, 3 million is peanuts. It is encouraging recruitive corruption. It is becoming the center of recruitive corruption. What is wrong with the law in Kenya? Onyari, before you go, is it the law or the judiciary? Leo tunapambana. Let's hear from Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Dr. David Masanga and my co-panelists. Doctor, we are having a very huge problem in this country. Why? Judiciary, as we know it, has been involved in a lot of judicial activism versus delivering justice to the people of Kenya, who are the victims of these corrupt world leaders, corrupt ministers, corrupt top leaders in this country, people that have sunk this country. Where we go out of our way, take a Euroboat or take a loan that was to service dams. People steal money meant for poor people in Eregio Marakwet, in Aror and Kimorel villages, money meant for Dwake Dam, money meant for every other dam in this country, money meant for roads, money meant for SGR. People prefer this money and go out of their way to buy utensils and the towels. May they choke on those towels as they use those towels in Mombasa, Dolphin Hotel, as they continue grabbing even around the sea, endangering marine life and marine ecology in our Indian Ocean.
Dr. David Masanga, these are the same people who come out of their way and now continue encouraging these judges to give them more lenient sentences or charges or fines. Because 6 million to what Wario stole, it means I can steal 100 million today with an assurance that I'm going to donate 10 million to courts as fines. Then I make a profit of 90 million. Who doesn't want a soft life in this life, Dr. David Masanga? People have abdicated duty and the hard work in this country and they substituted it with corruption. And these people are the same who continue permitting our crowds as politicians and the leaders of tomorrow, today, and the past. Dr. David Masanga, our judiciary should come to the fore and tell the people of Kenya for whose welfare, for whose industry and service do they work, and shown under the Constitution to protect their rights, and whose justice are they delivering? Are they delivering justice to Wario because of stealing lots of millions of shillings for Rio Olympics in 2016? Or why are we rewarding Wario? I was shocked when Wario came to the fore and he was appointed as an ambassador to Austria when he was accused of corruption. When Kiropa Mairu was accused of mismanaging the Ministry of Health, he was appointed an ambassador. In this country, we need to be able to reactivate our sense of pride and patriotism to our country, to our flag, and to our fatherland. Because at the end of the day, what we are having are leaders that do not care about this country. People like Wario, who will now go on to run with the balance of money that they have been left around with, they are going now to declare that they are going to run for Isiolo governor, like the rumors have been saying. Now, why is judiciary quiet? Why is judiciary, if you steal a chunk of 100 million shillings, judiciary just rewards you with a fine of 10 million shillings, you minus the same from the monies that you have been investing around, and Wario is a free man. I fault our judiciary for concentrating more on judicial activism and civil society work more than delivering justice, fairness, and industry and their service to the people of Kenya. Because Dr. David Masanga, we cannot run this country the way politicians, people, ministers like people of Wario's caliber have run this country down. Our judiciary has failed the people of Kenya to a fault. The judiciary of the Republic of Kenya continues rewarding thieves, conmen, and the people who are involved in illegal businesses with lucrative businesses of corruption, where they pay a little fine and they are free to go. Dr. David Masanga, I have no kind words for our judiciary. I may submit, as I submit my point, that this judiciary has been working for criminals, drug dealers, and the outside world, led by George Soros, NGO, the Open Society Foundation. Thank you.
Doc, just to add to what Douglas there has said, first of all, Wario's Twitter still reads that he is the ambassador of Kenya to Austria, which he should go and delete that. I think it's not right. And also very interesting is that he went through vetting in the National Assembly, even after the scandal that made him to be removed from the Ministry of Sports, and our National Assembly vetted him and found him fit to go represent Kenya in Austria. So it's a tragedy all round.
It is a tragedy, Miriam, a very big tragedy that we see. He might even be appointed an ambassador. Yeah, he stepped aside, isn't he?
He was appointed.
He was appointed.
He has not gone there yet. But
yes,
the president appointed him, and National Assembly.
So until the president cancels that,
he should.
He has cleared himself. Does he continue to work in the civil service? Chapter 6. So it's a long journey. You know why the man was giving the two signs? Look here. It's the long journey. That's why I asked the question. Is it the law which is wrong or the judiciary? There is one point that I want to hear from. Let me hear from Sharon. Is it the law or the judiciary?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Matanga and my co-panelists. On the issue of Wario, I think the sentence that was given to him is quite fair. But however, I think more would have been done moving forward, where we can have like accounts frozen, or if also having like his properties seized. This brings me back to yesterday's conversation, and I brought out the question of why has this case taken too long to determine at the first place. But I'm happy that the CJ acknowledged that, you know, it will take a maximum of completion, a maximum of 3 years to complete a case moving forward. Another thing that I'm happy that Miriam has highlighted, that was one of the things that I really noted, is the issue of giving a lenient bail. You cannot squander over 50 million and then you're given a bail of 3 million. Clearly, you're going to pay the fine using the money that you have stolen. So I think this is really encouraging it's encouraging more corruption. And moving forward, I would love if we can tighten this system of accountability in the public service. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good view. Joseph Nyachama. Is it the courts? But before I go to Joseph, in your opinion, Sharon, is it the court, the law, or the judiciary?
The judiciary is also corrupted.
Okay, thank you. So both
yes,
play a role in the sentence, yes, and the lower sentence we got under the inequalities in the system of dispensing justice. Thank you. Joseph Nyachama, your take on this, brother.
Thank you, Dr. Masanga and my fellow panelists once again. First of all, Dr. Masanga, firstly, let us in fact congratulate the magistrate. It's the same person who sentenced the MP, and then, of course, having found him guilty. What Miriam has raised, for me, in fact, before you even pass the judiciary, the process is not exhausted. That is how the magistrate looked at it. And she even said, by the way, that I have been very lenient. What Miriam and Sharon have said, that squandered over 50 million and then you pay a fine of 3.6. What we need to say, if there is an issue on the level of the sentence put on this former minister, OPP can appeal. That is how it goes. We have not exhausted the judicial process of prosecution. They can go still and appeal and say the sentences meted on the former minister is not punitive enough or is not sufficient as per provisions of abuse of office. I am telling you, the next court may agree because the laws are there and they are sufficient. What I think we need to do, either as public or OPP, if any person is dissatisfied with the sentence, Office of Public Prosecution can go and contest against the sufficient sentence against the former minister. And they can be jailed, by the way. For me, it is the first pointer that the judiciary at least is sending very serious warning to people who have been executing public service with impunity. I would only say, Dr. Masanga, and appeal to OPP, this sentence was very lenient and they need to appeal for a more punitive sentence against the former minister. That, you know, it is the process of making sure justice is done is there in provision and very clear in the justice system. I think that is the leeway. Can OPP appeal against the sufficiency of that sentence? I was very surprised that the guy was reflecting as if he has conquered something. How can a fraudster conquer?
Yeah, he has conquered us foolish people. He has
Can
conquered
you imagine?
his home, is not scattered. The Calicos are happy. So
he was raising his fingers and hands as if he has won the battle. When was he in war of fraud or fraud, or what is it? It's shame on them. You know, some of these people lack character. I usually say, beauty may take a woman to the palace, but it's only character that can keep her there. Wario needs to know his character is already tainted.
Keep that quote for the men and the women. What is going on in the society? We need that quote. Beauty can take a woman to the palace, and
only character can keep her there.
Yeah, that is. I think we need it there. Thank you very much. You made your point. You keep it for us. You are going to entice us on the other one. Jamani Karanja, we are running time so that Miriam and others and the rest of us can now go and have a nice a rest after talking the whole week. Yes, Jamani Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I agree with the rest of the panelists that our courts are the problem. The judiciary is a problem. Judiciary as a custodian of the Constitution, they need to adhere and work what the Constitution dictates. But what we are seeing is lenient punishments. We are seeing a judiciary that is under hostage, is in captivity, a judiciary that is not working independently, because the verdict, the sentence that was given to former CS Sports, Wario, was quite lenient. Under 3.6 million to a person who has covered around 100 million, that's not good, because at the end of the day, there's a profit that Wario has made from the proceeds of corruption. Therefore, if you give him a fine of 3.6 million or 4 million, then that means that we are encouraging more people to engage in corruption, and at the end of the day, they will be able to pay these court fines and they will be scot-free. Therefore, it's high time as a country and as judiciary wakes up from their slumber and works what the Constitution means. And when it comes to the fight against corruption, our judiciary should not be the stumbling block. They should read from the front and ensure that all those who are culprits, all those who have been found guilty of squandering public resources, they are punished mercilessly, they are punished punitively, so that we can set an example and we act as a deterrent measures from others who would like to engage on such activities in future. But the kind of verdict that was given to Wario encourages more politicians, more civil servants to engage in corruption, because at the end of the day, they will be free to continue making profits from this corruption money. They will be free to eat their money in peace, because now Wario will go out and enjoy the corrupt money without any other fear, without any fear, because now the court has set him free. Therefore, our courts are the problem. The law is very clear. We might have millions of laws against towards the fight against corruption, but if we don't have goodwill from the judiciary, these laws will mean nothing. They will mean zero, and nothing will be achieved. Therefore, it's upon having clean judges who will offer justice without fear, favor, or prejudice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All of you have touched on both the law and the courts. Where is the problem? I want to tell you, my panel today, for the first time, I'm going to differ. And I'm differing on 1 pence. 1 pence. Who makes the laws? The parliament. When fuel struck to 16% VAT, who raised it? Miriam, who raised the fuel? The parliament. Who makes the laws that are supposed to take people in prison? The parliament. The court interprets exactly what Elizabeth Juma did last evening. And I want all of you on the panel to open up your antennas and see where the problem of Kenya lies. The problem of Kenya lies in too much constitutionalism and less constitutionalism without constitutionalism. Are we together today? I am not doing the other one of this is that judge of BBI. Have you got my Miriam? Can we begin again? The problem of Kenya lies in too much constitutionalism, without constitutionalism, without, what did I say the last one? I want one student to accept here. All of you lost it. Kenya has too much constitutionalism, without constitutionalism, with no constitution. That's the truth. We all go to court. Everything in Kenya now has reached the point of going to court. The husband and the wife disagree on vegetables. They have to finish it somewhere in court. Is that constitutional? Yes. But does the court give you what you want? Wouldn't we have another alternative mechanisms of a crimes court? A crimes court. A court that deals with economic crimes only, Miriam. That's the point I'm trying to make. Specifically for economic crimes, like other countries that have fought corruption. Rwanda has got a special crimes court, economic crimes court, where the chief prosecutor will not labor much. You get the point? The chief prosecutor will not labor much. The laws are there. He sentences you to 100 years. You will never come back and steal. Another person will not steal because he has got seen a deterrent. But here we have a lot of constitutionalism, a leeway of constitutionalism, where everybody goes using the constitution. Everybody quotes the constitution, but they don't practice the constitution. They don't practice constitutionally. They do it unconstitutionally. That's what I mean. There's constitutionalism, but there's no practice of constitutionalism. They do everything unconstitutionally. Whom are you blaming? The parliament. The parliament of Kenya must enact different laws. We must change the constitution. BBI was going to change the constitution to catch the thieves so that Wario does not give us the 7 fingers or the 4 fingers sign of UDA that I'm coming, I've won, I'm going to be part of you. But the same churches and the same people came back, denounced the whole of BBI, it collapsed. So are we constitutional? Are we constitutional, Sharon? Are we?
No.
We think about the constitution, our constitution. But are we constitutional when you stop a constitutional method, route to change, to get the thieves detained? In Rwanda, it is, Wario would have gone down for 20 years. In Ethiopia, before it became a mess. In London, the people who served, who stole the money for Chicken Gate, for Kenya, they have served their sentence. Miriam, they have come out, they have been rebuilding maybe another empire. You get my point? In Kenya, the case of the Chicken Gate is not yet over. Because of constitutionalism, which we don't practice constitutionalism, we do it unconstitutional. Kenya has got the constitutionalism. It doesn't practice the constitutionalism. It doesn't do it constitutionally. We do it differently. That's why Wario was happy that But I have won. What will you do? You hear me now? Wario said it. So that is the basis. It is the parliament to make the laws, and the parliament did not make good laws, has not made good laws in Kenya to detain thieves. I submit.
All right. Thank you.
Bring us to the next topic.
All right. So the next topic was, has COVID-19 exposed the hidden society?
But you have gone too fast down.
Oh, sorry, up there, changing roles of men and women in society.
Yes. I brought this topic because today, you see amongst the society today, there are so many things that have gone wrong. I brought it because of the complaints by parents talking about CBC, competence-based curriculum of Kenya. I brought it because you have seen a lot on social media, a booklet where the teachers said, tell your parents to help you to draw a diagram. I brought it because we seem to have lost direction as a society. I brought it because single parents, both men and women, seem to be at a loss. Married couples seem to be at a loss. What do you do that will make your husband happy or your wife happy? Plenty of married couples today have a problem. Some of them don't talk to each other once they leave office. Some of them quarrel throughout the whole night. If you are a neighbor, you might think there is a war in Afghanistan next door. These are some of the things that have made the society. And we missed one part, the church, because I wanted to find out the church, that is 6 dialogue. But we mixed it up in the upper echelon, but we shall come to it. But I want to refer to those people who want to talk about the church. I have written a letter to the clergy. My letter can be found in the legacy train to the clergy. When did the clergy, my question is, Miriam, when did the clergy find out that there was a problem in Kenya? Was it today? Was it yesterday? Or they saw it when? It is doing real rounds on social media. And I believe the Opera News will be quoting me in a minute now. Because now they are focused on me, they are quoting me. That's okay. So let's look at the basics of a society. Why has our society become as it is? Why has our society become the Wario? Where Wario comes out of court after having known the mistake, he is not remorseful. Where the deputy president is not remorseful. If you can put on the clip by the deputy president, it can bring in a lot of light to us who are here today. It can bring out a lot of knowledge to the people who are watching us. I don't know whether Stephen is ready. We would like to see that clip where the deputy president yesterday said, I'm willing to have a dialogue with the president. Is this the nature of our society we have? Without remorsefulness, as if he did nothing. Is this the society we have now, the men and the women? What goes on in those houses? What happens in those houses? What happens in your homes? When your husband returns from work, when your wife returns from work, you tell your wife, where's my food? Are we able, as as parents? Are we able as husbands to also cook? I'm provoking the men on the panel here. Do we cook? Do men cook, Miriam? Do men cook, Sharon? Do they allow you people to cook all the time? Earning money. People earn money. Do you tell your husband, I'm now also like you? Our families getting the right partners. Our people, our children, getting the right partners. Why is there breakage in the marriages? Why is there divorce? Why is there this carefree? Why don't you tell your husband or your wife that I have saved only 1,000 shillings and that we have only 1,000 between us? What can we do, sir? Or why don't you tell your wife? Or the wife tells the husband? How many people stand by that? These are the topics that take us away from the politics of the hardiness that we have been talking about every week. So I submit to the panel, if any of you wants to make a comment, why is the society, especially we men, I speak from the men point of view, why is it that we don't help our women? The Chama.
Thank you, Dr. Miriam, Douglas, and Sharon. Now, you know, Dr. Masanga, and I hope people are listening, even sometimes some churches and some bishops mislead their flocks on what is the role of a man in a marriage or in society. You hear Dr. Masanga what they say, that the man is not is the head. You have heard that?
Yeah.
For me, I don't agree.
But the German it has changed.
No, I'm continuing.
It has changed. The current girls, this
no.
It's a discussion today.
I'm continuing, Dr.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
right. I said I don't agree. According to the Bible, the man is the foundation of the family, not just the head.
The structure.
The foundation of a house carries everything. Let us get things clear, Dr. Masanga, and those listening to us. Man is not just the head of the family, it's the foundation of the family. And the foundation of the foundation of a house carries the entire weight of the house. And you asked the question, can a man cook? But I've just said, is the foundation. If cooking is necessary, he should cook. So, I'm now speaking, Dr. Masanga, from a biblical point, and then God created for him a helper. The question I want to ask the panelists, who is stronger, a helper or the person to be helped? And you see, that is the question that has never been answered. Who is strong? In short, what I wanted to say as far as relationship within family is concerned, there are two issues which needs to be addressed. There's what we call interpersonal relationship and intrapersonal. So in short, because this is an elusive subject, Dr. Masanga, there needs to be cooperative in the family. As much as the wife is a helper, the husband needs to know a helper can be stronger than the one who's going to be helped. But the men presume that they are the most intelligent and strong. Not necessarily.
The Chama, who is the helper?
Yeah? Who
is the helper?
The Bible is clear. It says...
Sharon,
no,
are you listening? Are you listening?
I want men to get it clear.
Yes, that the women are helpers.
They assume that the fact that the woman is a helper is the weakest. No. Suppose you want to put on fire with a jerrycan and you are defeated. So you don't seek help from the city council. It comes with the big vehicle with the fire. It is the helper who is strong, Dr. Masanga. And men misunderstand this until they understand that the wife is there to augment. She could be stronger than you in all aspects. Until they know this, there could be still conflict in the family. For now, Dr. Masanga, I submit, because this is my area, by the way, you didn't know. I submit for now. Dr. Masanga?
Douglas, before I come to the ladies. Douglas?
Doctor.
Do you have any comment?
No, Doctor, I have no comment on that.
Yeah, because you have no comment. Sharon?
Yes.
I am reading somewhere. I'm reading towards why do we have two-thirds gender parity?
Yes.
Why have we reached a point where people have now forced through the constitution that there must be a two-gender parity?
Okay.
Dr. Nachama has just brought something there, opened up something of the woman is the helper by the Bible, a helper. But do women these days say they are helpers?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Matanga and my co-panelists. On this issue, I'll look it in two ways, yeah? Number one, being empowerment and entitlement. I think research has it that 40% of the women in the urban areas are more empowered. When it comes to, and not about entitlement, yeah? What I understand about marriage is that marriage is meant to complement and not compete against each other. It's true that everyone, okay, women, speaking from a woman's perspective, it's true that women need men. Okay, or rather, I support marriage, yeah? Because it's clear that every man needs a support system. And it's extremely impossible with a base. But until we understand the role of marriage is more of complementing and not just competing competing against each other. Until we understand that role, then I think, yeah, that's what I can say about this.
Until that role is understood, is complementarity. Complement.
And not compete.
Not competing, complementing.
Yes.
If you have food in the house,
yes.
Do you wake up your partner at night to make the food?
True. And not assigning specific roles for just the woman.
Do you cook for your wife? I'm asking men out there.
That is submission. There's also submission, which is a very important aspect in marriage. But also, it should not be taken for, I don't know how I can put it. But some men tend to take advantage of.
For granted, they take advantage.
Yeah,
the fact that they use it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me get a comment from Miriam.
No, I'll be like Douglas. I'll skip that.
You'll skip that, but these topics will be on Friday.
Yes.
And we are going to change.
I'm just listening in, yes, and getting information.
Yes, there will be. We shall be bringing in some guests. We want to discuss things. The society today, the society has collapsed. The society collapses because parents today are saying some of them cannot read, cannot even sit down and correct the mistakes that their children have done at school. Have we created laziness that has brought the society where we are? That's why we have produced a society which is angry. An angry society. Joseph and Sharon will agree with me that we have an angry society. An angry society begins from a home. If you have left your house when you have not communicated properly with your wife or with your husband, there is bound to be the same transferred to the person you meet, the first person you meet in the office. You will finish that anger on that person. So if we are tracing what has gone wrong in society, and let's be very honest, if we are tracing what is going wrong in the society, we must trace from homes. It is the home which always brings a home is an African setting, is an African value added ingredient for any human being. But if the home has got quarrels, if the husband is beating the wife, if there are quarrels waking up children at night, if there are quarrels where one partner is not putting in enough effort in difficult times of this time of the topic we are coming to next, of COVID-19, what has COVID-19 brought out? COVID-19 has brought out quite a lot of things, as we are going to see in the next topic. And don't tell me any of you does not have the difficulties which we used not to have. You can't tell me you are right in your home. COVID-19 has brought up something that we made one way or the other in a home state we never used to do. Now we are doing them. So the underbelly of difficulties have come up. So a home makes a society. And the people you see either angry, the people you see either going to violence after elections, it starts from the home. But if you are teaching your children that when you grow up, I want you to work, study, and get a good job. But do we tell our children which type of job? There are few parents who want their, I don't think any of us who are parents have wanted. It is the school that sends us the career form that maybe the school asks your child that do you want to be an engineer or what? The child says, what is it that the child wants? The parent must, CBC is saying, if you know your child is a good artist, he can make those pictures and you earn a living. And he earns a living. Why don't you promote him, encourage him to be a good artist? If you know your child is a good sportsman or woman, he knows how to play tennis, he knows how to play football from the field at home with that football made of banana leaves, banana fiber, and you play it in the villages. You encourage that child that whenever he sees the ball at school, he runs for it. And then tomorrow, he might be the Ronaldo. Ronaldo, this other, I don't like them, of Manchester. Tomorrow, he could be the Mohammed, of Liverpool. Tomorrow, he could be the Kenyan, Mariga. If your child has that talent, it is the home, the society, that should begin to educate those children. That is why I brought this topic, that what has gone wrong, that we leave responsibility at times to only our wives, our partners. We leave responsibility to single parents. There are single parents who are men. I want to tell you that I was a single parent with 5 children. Why I am always talking about family is I brought up those 5 children under difficult conditions until I got married at the age of about 20, after 22 years. I had been married before, and then I got my other partner, my wife, in 1999. Look at that. How many years are those that? If you add this total, it's about 45 years of marriage. But before that, I had to struggle with a single parenthood, not wanting to mix a Mzungu with my children, who doesn't know that you can have many. Because in a society like in Britain, you are restricted to have only two. Two children are enough, or one. But when they see you with 8, and then you introduce 8 of them, even the person filling your forms says, you know, that comment alone makes you sad. But in African societies, we have those families. So the family begins from home. And that is why we see today the gender parity that people are talking about. In fact, today now on this panel, you can see for yourselves where the gender parity, why gender can never be accomplished in Kenya. We don't want to speak out. We call other people helpers. The Bible told us you are a helper. I'm not criticizing Joseph, but I'm saying the Bible called us a helper. But a helper should not be turned into a slave. There's a difference between a helper and a slave. Most of the men have turned their wives into slaves. They come at 2 a.m. and they say, where chakula iko wapi? The wife wakes up, honestly. Is that the way you want a home to be run? Because a woman is a helper. Let's leave that topic, and thank you very much. Those who have picked a few clues from
Dr.
this.
Masanga.
Yes. Oh, before I leave, yes.
I wanted to say something.
Say it, sir.
Me who use the word helper, and I simply ask the question, who is stronger? A helper or the person to be helped? I don't need the answer, but I wanted to say something.
Yes.
I have done research, and research has been done. And let me make a statement. For any successful marriage, every partner in the marriage must remain single. That is a fact. You know, Dr. Masanga, singleness has nothing to do with marital status. Either you are married or unmarried. Because you had already deferred the discussion, let me make a statement. Singleness means unique, wholesome, independent. You know, the problem is, I like what Sharon said. We complement each other. That is all what singleness means. You can never complement each other when you leave your singleness after marriage. For every successful marriage, all partners must remain single. Single has nothing to do with marital status. In fact, when a person wants to be married badly, it is a sign that he is not single yet. Dr. Masanga, I want you one day to bring a discussion. We discuss the myth of singleness. People don't understand what it means to be single.
I will be doing that.
Yes, we want to discuss what does single mean. Even you have used that you were single. Either you are, you know, singleness means complete.
Single parent.
No.
Yeah, a single parent without a partner.
How did you become a single parent?
Circumstances were very many.
That is why I'm saying, Dr. Masanga, either you are a widow or a widower. Singleness is different. This is why we want to discuss.
Okay, I will bring the show.
You
very
get
soon.
the point.
Very soon, I'm going to reinvent this TV.
You are a widow.
Don't worry, Nyachama. I'm going to reinvent the TV very soon, and you will see the flow of the people on the online. They will want to discuss topical issues, not issues of Magazeti, Nini. No, those are there, but we want to discuss issues also once in a while that touch the families. You see now the questions that you are probing are very serious, and they bring out the whole entire system.
Yes, it's true, Dr. Masanga.
Yes, they help. This question is help. The questions you're asking help. You might not be single.
Yes, because let me put it this way. A woman who lost a husband is a widow. Why do you call yourself a single parent? No, you are a widow.
You see, we are
Singleness
going to
is different. That is why we want to discuss later on this matter.
Thank you very much. Sharon and Miriam and Douglas, thank you very much on that one. Let's move on to the question. Which one is the next topic?
Has COVID-19 exposed the hidden society, and then after that, Uganda to restore democracy in Guinea?
And then
are Coups returning to Africa governance?
Yeah, we can combine the two of the Guinea and the Coups, and we finish. But to open up COVID, Miriam, maybe you can tell us whether there is something different in the COVID era that was not there. Is there something that you see? You know, the situation seemed to be, we might be here talking about some of these things, help very many other people. Is there something in your own perspective that was not there? What is it?
In what? In what?
No, in a sense, it doesn't necessarily mean your house or your home.
No. That is, I'm just saying in what perspective that perhaps has come with COVID, in a good or in a bad way.
In whichever, bad or good, negative or positive.
All right. So what I've learned from COVID, after the coming of COVID, and I think it's a conversation I was having with a friend of mine yesterday, there's been a reduction of illnesses that were germ-related, because now people get washed.
You had a conversation with
a friend of mine yesterday.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So there has been a decrease in germ-related, illnesses, because people are more clean right now. So we were just talking and hoping that this will continue. The sanitization, the washing of hands, just minding your general personal hygiene. So that will go a long way in removing some of these treatable and avoidable, unnecessary illnesses.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a very good gesture. And let me ask you this about the government caring about you. What is the attitude?
I think the government of Kenya, just like any other government across the world, the government of Kenya is doing its best to see that it's able to address the challenges and the issues that have come with COVID-19. So it was not a unique situation just for us, but I think the government has really tried to ensure that it does the best it can with what we have to see that the citizens are okay. Yeah, that is it. In fact, the COVID-19 has put the government closer to the people. True. The people now the government seem to know more, and the people seem to be closer, crying for government help. Yes, and also, yes, Doctor, so sorry to cut you short, because it is through COVID that we realized the bad state our hospitals were at. But as we speak, between last year and now, we've seen over 25 hospitals and clinics have been established by the government, and that is an underbelly that COVID helped to expose. So we've seen it's really trying to respond to some of these challenges. So that is a good thing. So COVID might be a blessing in disguise. Of course, we've lost lives, and we are sorry for that, but also there are lessons we have learned, and hopefully we can do better moving forward. On the question of balance of trade, before I leave you go, balance of trade between countries in Africa, Kenya and Britain, for example. What would you like to see? Because, for example, Kenya Airways flies into Heathrow to carry cargo, but it doesn't carry passengers. Passengers are restricted to arrive in Heathrow. British Airways comes here to carry
also to drop the cargo, huge amounts of cargo that is coming from Britain. That's why British Airways comes, half of it is full of cargo. Now, has it brought out the question of mercantile? More people are interested in economic activity than restriction, than the people themselves. Because the people at the moment, those Kenyans who want to go to United Kingdom to do their things of their choice, freedom of choice. In Africa, they want to go and get a visa at the British High Commission and walk in London, buy your Marks and Spencer, buy your Harrods, have tea, relax, go for summer. Some of them are getting restricted. What do you think we can do about that?
Yes, Doc, and it's not just the behavior with the UK, but also you've seen a lot of countries. I think a lot of nationalism came out, every country for its own. And at some point, we got very worried here about Africa because we rely so much on a lot of our products and trade and all that coming from that part of the world and China and across. So when things were not working as usual, we got worried as to how we will be able to survive. But that also forced us to look into what we have and how we can reinvent and how we can have economies that are strongly supported by the local, community, the locals are here. COVID has taught us to do that. So hopefully these are lessons our government has learned, cargo going and coming and not people coming, because as we also have business with the people who are coming in this country as tourists. So that has affected us. So I'm just hoping that the UK government will reconsider this. I was watching a conversation on BBC yesterday because right now they have vaccinated majority of the population and now they want to give the booster shots. And one of the leading doctors in UK was saying that is very selfish. You want to give a booster shot while there are countries which have not even received their first doses of COVID-19. So the inequalities when when it comes to how these even COVID vaccines are being distributed across the world. But we want Kenya, it has been removed from that red list, but we want them to go further, and allow, because we are trying. They're trying.
Have they removed Kenya from
we were removed from the red list, yes, 2 weeks ago.
No, it is still there.
We were removed. I think we've been put in another list, but not fully allowed. we are in a much better list. I think you're calling it amber or something. But
no, If we are in amber, you can arrive in the United Kingdom without any problem. Once you have your certificate, your vaccination, and your tests at the airport.
Because
you don't pay the £2,000. You remember everybody coming from Kenya was paying £2,000. That was the petition. You remember the petition that we did 1 month ago?
Yes.
It went to Parliament, and the people said, no way. Because there were so many people held down here. So many people, you came with £2,000, Miriam, it is finished. And the hotel is not going to leave you to go home. So that is okay. And I didn't know about that news that it was removed from
the time the first British Airways flight came to Kenya, I think after they lifted that, I think 2 Sundays away. Yeah, so about that time, so we were removed from the red list.
That's very great news. You are the dispatch. You are the Spra Dispatch news anchor. So we do these topics. Miriam, Douglas. Miriam, we do these topics. They are very educative. For example, you can have PhDs, you can have certificates, but you might not know. I didn't even know that some people, we are even trying to go far into other areas in order to arrive in Britain. Some countries were making more money than Britain itself, but that is very good news to hear. Douglas, what has it brought up which you think in the villages? What do people think about what is new about it? Behavior-wise, health-wise, government, governance, the governors, people. You talk to people every day, especially in your ward where you are campaigning to become the MCA. It is very, very important for us who are doing research, documenting some of these things. You see, I've learned something from Miriam this morning, this afternoon, sorry. What is it that the underbelly, what has been brought out, good or bad, whatever it is? Yes.
Thank you, Dr. David Masanga. One thing that the coronavirus pandemic has been able to bring to the fore or to the peoples in the world is that our interconnectedness, our brotherhood, our sisterhood, and also our interconnectedness, like as a people, the way we are interconnected is something that has been of paramount importance. We've seen people who strive to go wash their hands, wear masks, and go out to meet people, go out to their religious places of worship. And we've seen people gather in social gatherings with two masks and others sanitizing their hands, some with gloves. It has shown us that despite the challenges that humanity has been able to go through, the interconnectedness that has always been with humanity is something that we cannot be able to wish away and we cannot be able to take away. The connection between one soul to another, one villager to another, one family member to another is something that throughout the pandemic we have been able to see. We've seen people write messages to their people. We've seen people call each other that you keep washing your hands, sanitize and wear your mask and social distance as you're doing your things and as you go about your business. And we've seen that. The communities that we come from, people continue caring for each other, people continue moving with their programs of helping the needy in the society, even those that have gone under through the pandemic. We've seen communities, we've seen families, we've seen friends come through for other friends. We've seen that humanity cannot coexist without the help of one another. There is none of us that can isolate themselves and live an isolationist kind of a lifestyle. But life has always depended on our own connection with each other, our own interactions with each other. And this pandemic also has shown us who our leaders truly are. For example, we've leaders in Meru County and other counties that have always been mentioned and with the mismanagement of funds. When monies were meant for coronavirus mitigation programs, especially building of ICU and all others, we've seen counties that bought land to be able to kill their people. We've seen counties that have bought land so that they can be able to bury their people, and their people being resilient, and also in the Kenyan indomitable spirit of a Kenyan, they have not been able to die. And also counties that have been able to siphon public funds meant for better and the welfare of the people as they mitigate COVID-19. Dr. David Masanga, we've been able to see counties that have been able to take care of their people, built oxygen plants, and also commissioned new hospitals like Murang'a County of Mwangi area, commissioned a 45-bed capacity ICU that I think could not have come to the fore were it not for coronavirus. Their counties enjoying proper health care because, one, we've come this far, and healthcare as an investment has been able to be brought to speed. These people have been able to do this, and they have been able to invest in the lives of their people. Otherwise, monies that could have disappeared and monies that could have been taken by other people. So, Dr. David Masanga, I think this pandemic has also shown us how government can become resilient, how government can be able to come and also invest in the lives of so many other Kenyans, especially the government of the Republic of Kenya. We've seen how the government has gone out of its way to deal with an emergency. We've seen how the government has gone out of its way to take care of its populations. There are people who are receiving government monies until now to be able to mitigate the effects of COVID-19. We have seen, Dr. David Masanga, how the government has been able to take care of the elderly, providing periodical support for them, or maybe every month, so that they can be able to mitigate COVID-19. We've seen the government of the Republic of Kenya release funds for hospitals, emergencies, so that we can be able to build hospitals, build capacity to handle this pandemic. We've seen governance experts offer their services to the government of the Republic of Kenya or elsewhere, where they have been able to offer advisory services to government. People have become more selfless because we have realized this coronavirus has taught us 1 minute you are here, the next minute you are not here. This pandemic has taught us sharing is caring, and the sharing has been done by the government of the Republic of Kenya and the whole of the populace. We've seen people go out of their way, empowering children, women, and men at large in our communities. Dr. David Masanga, coronavirus has shown me that family is supreme. Family is important. We've been taught by coronavirus that family that we have always underrated from time to time, family has come out as a strong institution, as a sacred or divine institution that has always stood the test of time. When the push came to the shove under COVID-19, we've seen families stand with their loved ones, and families extend their goodness to other families, and we've been able to coexist together as brothers and sisters in this republic. Thank you, Dr. David Masanga.
And
Thank you very much.
Before someone else comes, I'd like to correct some misinformation that I gave out there. I think I read some place. The removing of Kenyan in the red list was supposed to take place yesterday, and it did not. And this is because of the cabinet reshuffle that took place on Wednesday, the Prime Minister did in the UK. But it is hoped that that will take place today, so let's wait and see. So that is a miscommunication. But they lifted the ban on the British Airways, which started flying back 2 weeks ago. So that was a miscommunication. But Kenya is expected to be removed from that list perhaps today. It was supposed to happen yesterday, but that didn't happen.
Prayers.
All right, so I apologize
let's put our hands together and pray. Miriam, thank you. Because I would have got the signal.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry,
Prayers,
that was a miscommunication.
Let's hope it will be removed, because you can't send British Airways here to
Kenya is on the list of the 12 countries that they're considering to ease those restrictions, so it will be removed. It was supposed to be removed yesterday.
Yeah, but the minister, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Rahab, is it Rahab?
So after the reshuffle on Wednesday, that brought up the confusion. So it had to be pushed to today. So hopefully they'll make those announcements, because they usually review those every 3 weeks,
Because
they review the ban.
Thank you very much. Let them do that. To at least the country will get some money out of the big airplanes carrying. Using our airport to do the business.
And the tourists. And we are going towards a season where we usually receive a lot of tourists. When it's winter there, they all come here. So we need that. So we need to be out of that red list. Absolutely.
It will be, because at the moment it is Emirates and Qatar carrying the huge number of Kenyans and Great Lakes region people. All of them come to Nairobi and they are gone. It's a huge number, because their restrictions, it has brought up those. Let's move on quickly. Let's do small, cut it short. The legacy trend, what have you got out of this?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Matanga and my co-panelists. For me, I think COVID, as much as we look at the downside, it has also been a blessing in disguise, whereby, like my fellow panelists mentioned about bringing families together, and it has taught us to value families. In fact, when I look at most of the parents complaining about CBC, is because now it has forced you to. These are most of the. If you look at it, is that most of these parents are the ones that had entirely left the burden to the teachers, and they have no time they have no involvement with the kids. But right now you have enough time, you are at home, and you have to be fully engaged. So another thing is about COVID, I would say, has eradicated some of the diseases like cholera, whereby you see now we are very sensitized when it comes to health matters because we are constantly washing hands and sanitizing. Yeah, and then another thing is on the growth of health sector. I would appreciate, I've just seen today that the NMS has launched 3 more facilities, apart from the many that have been launched. So when you look at the growth of health, in the health sector, we have rapidly grown in that sector. And the last thing I would say is about definitely it has taught us to appreciate the gift of life, because this minute you are here and the next minute we do not know where you are. So yeah, that's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nyachama, briefly.
Thank you, Dr. For me, this pandemic has been a crisis, and if you read Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is no season which is permanent. However, I must say that this COVID-19, I agree with what certain extent what Sharon has said. This crisis has created unity. There's no question about it. You have seen how medical officers come together to help alive where need was. This pandemic crisis of COVID-19 has produced empathy. This crisis of COVID-19 has brought out solidarity. And this COVID-19 crisis has brought us back to humanity. You saw how very senior guys, when they were unable to breathe, is when they realized there is nothing up there where they thought that suffering was for the lower people. So it brought back to some people to humanity feeling. And in fact, furthermore, this crisis has brought back us to simplicity of life. And you'll be surprised that senior people suffered from COVID-19. If you talk to them now, they are completely different, Dr. Masanga. They view life differently. This COVID-19 has brought parents to a level where they understand now their children. They stayed with them. You know, most of the time they are in school. Now they understand their children better than before the COVID came. In fact, this COVID-19 has taught the nation a lesson that they need to develop their infrastructure, especially from the medical perspective. And it has given government opportunity now to know that at a time of crisis like COVID, if you are not prepared in terms of medical equipment, your citizen may be exposed badly. This crisis of COVID has made nations across the globe to know that there is no nation which is independent. We are all interdependent. It is a lesson it has taught every person in the world, more particularly to our country. You know, there is an advisor to one of the American presidents who said, do not let a crisis go to waste. And I believe the leadership should never let this COVID-19 to go to waste, because it has exposed them. Lastly, Dr. Masanga, this COVID-19 has tested our leadership in their vision. They need to ask themselves, is it the economy which is in crisis or the vision which is in crisis? I want to tell you, Dr. Masanga and my fellow panelists, there is no economy which is in crisis. It is the vision of leaders which is in crisis, and it has taught them how to be more visionary in future. To that extent, Dr. I submit.
Thank you very much, Miriam. For me, in summary, it has opened up the sense of compassion. Miriam, you got my summary? A sense of compassion. There is compassion, compassionate heart, compassionate life, compassionate, wherever you touch, there is that sense of compassion. That this can happen, and it can happen to you. It can happen to your child. It can happen to your brother, your sister, your mother, your husband, your grandfather, to anybody. That sense of compassion is there. It hasn't brought the sense of stigma. You remember HIV, AIDS, brought a sense of stigma. You get my point? When people could hear that one is suffering from HIV, someone would say, but this one came for everybody. So it has created that sense of compassion. A compassionate person comes out of this. When you see someone without a mask, you would ask, please, please, please wear your mask. I was in one of the hotels, one of the best hotels at the coast. Miriam, I would like to tell you frankly, I think you were there with us the other time when we went there to our seminar. Every corner you go in that hotel, there is someone reminding you, please, sir, wear your mask or wash your hands. And that hotel has done it so well that a day like this one today, Miriam, it's very difficult to find a place to sleep because it has discipline. So there is also, as much as there is, this is the discipline. I want to tell you, this is the discipline that was not there. People could come and eat their food and leave it there. But now nobody wants to touch your food. He has to run and get the gloves first to carry even the litter you have thrown on the floor. That is discipline, a compassionate discipline direction, where people, if we go again the way we are going now, the world will be changed. Another thing the COVID has opened up is, Miriam, it has exposed the diseases. As you said, I concur with you. You only mentioned hygienically based diseases, but all the diseases, because you cannot be treated of COVID without testing the question of HIV. Yes, and the doctors are finding if you are treated, you must have that treatment must come out. The results must come out in order for them to know now which type of medicine for you to be given. I don't know whether the panel is getting what I'm saying. They have to know. Because if you have any other underlying diseases, they must treat those diseases first or separate them, then they can come for the medicine for COVID-19. So it has shown quite a lot. There is a lot that the medical fraternity are getting results because everybody who goes in there previously, people could not go for testing. But now you have to be tested. It's mandatory. It's not said in the radio that you have. But if the doctor, Miriam, if you end up in hospital, if the doctor is going to treat you, he has to test you. Otherwise, he won't treat you. They won't treat you. They have to know what they are treating. If it is diabetes, if it is AIDS, if it is cancer, if it is whatever it is, then they can see the sessions they take you through. So that one has opened up the belly of other difficulties, bringing compassion, bringing us people, and giving the government now the exact numbers of, by the time the the pandemic goes out or it becomes endemic, the government will have all the data. And mark you, when you are being vaccinated, the data is held by the World Health Organization. The Kenyan data, once you go to any airport, they will punch in that data. It will have to show that this man has got 2 vaccinations, is vaccinated, and that is very good. It has opened up all that. Thank you. Next, summary. I will combine them. I'll do them once. What is the subject is Guinea.
Yes.
I was shocked by this tweet by the first son of Uganda, my friend, the younger friend of mine, General Mohozi, saying if they are given permission, they do go to Guinea and remove those guys. By the way, Miriam, last night at about 12, I was doing an interview. I don't know whether you saw me. You must have been sleeping fully. I was doing an interview with News Central, one of the biggest channels worldwide. And they were asking me about the Guinea coup, what do we do in Africa to stop coups? And this question came up that Uganda would like to send troops to Conakry to remove the Garrett guys. Indeed, I agreed with President Museveni that the guys across there are not stable. You have seen military coups take place, but the ones of Mali were very stable and organized until a panga man came in the mosque, wanted to the knife dagger guy. He has now changed the tactics and became, no, this one is even displaying himself. He is not sure. You know, he's a lieutenant colonel, but there are generals in the army. What do you do with the generals in the army whom you are taking command from? So the regime there seems to be not complete and seem not to be the real regime which is wanting a change, but which is preparing for another coup. That is the summary I gave. They are not ready. Look at the leader.
Does Muhonzi know that his father came to power through a coup?
I think he knows that very well.
So who is
he was there.
The coup
he was grown up when the father took over. He was grown up, and he knows it very well. But now, the father resigned from the army and became a normal man, a normal civilian who could contest elections. But one of the things, you know why I am not doubting the president's ability to take over Conakry. His troops are in Guinea, Equatorial Guinea. If you see the distance between Equatorial Guinea and Conakry, have you seen that it is a very short distance? Ugandan troops, UPDF, are guarding oil installations. Elite groups are guarding oil installations in Guinea, in Guinea, Equatorial Guinea. So it is a matter of them organizing to jump on, and they land in there, they take over, and on that one, I am not in for military coups, surely. But I am not equally in for people who prolong their lives in power. Then you are thrown out by a coup. I think that is all we can summarize, and I give to our parting shots to say military coups are indeed coming back to Africa. It's a big topic for the next day on Sunday. Why are they coming back, Miriam? It is the reasons. One of them is the one you have just given. If a military, you die by sword. If you are removed by sword, you again, the sword comes to kill you. So we shall look at that aspect when it comes to Sunday. But for now, we can have parting shots from, let's begin with ladies. Lady Sharon, parting shot.
Parting shot on what aspect? Or
everything. You're parting bye-bye. What? Say bye-bye. Tunaenda.
Yeah. Thank you very
much. All the topics, what stood out for you?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Matanga and my co-panelist. It has been a pleasure being a part of the panelist, and I think all the topics have stood out for me, and I think the most that stood out for me is on the COVID-19 impact. Yeah, and it's good to learn from each and every person that was on board today. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a happy weekend. Thank you.
We wish you a good one also. Enjoy your weekend in style. Thank you. Douglas Kirimi. As you wish us the weekend, what do you want us to broadcast more about the Kagwa? What is the word called? Kigwa?
No, what is the Kiagu word in Mel?
Kiagwa. Yeah, Kiagu. Kiagu word has become the focus of the whole of Kenya. Yes.
Yes, and it is true that I went to a public debate with all of the aspirants and I defeated them. In that, I won the debate. And also, what stood out for me is that the hypocrisy of our church in Kenya. A sick church cannot heal a sick nation. Also, for the church that has been receiving monies from the corrupt hand of William Ruto, claiming now that politicians should not speak in their pulpits, and also the same church telling us they want to unite the president and the deputy president, William Ruto. Remember, this was not even a church process before. This was a political process before. And whatever these two former friends have gone through, it is a cycle that every person has to go in life, and the church should not pretend that they can be able to unite the president who has not even antagonized his deputy. It is deputy president who stole monies that were meant for development, who antagonized the president's legacy, and they took the same money to those churches, and those churches provided a platform for Dr. Ruto to demonize his boss and also insult his family, including his mother, on the same platforms and the pulpits. So, Doctor, what stood out for me is the hypocrisy of the churches, the bishops, and Dr. William Ruto saying that now he wants an handshake without conditions, that now the president should be called out for a public meeting, shake hands, and without asking Ruto questions, Ruto without asking the president's team and the president people questions, and they move on, so that we can be able to hand out our 80 million votes that supported President Uhuru Kenyatta to his patriot less than 2 million votes that support him. So, Doctor, that really stood out for me, and I wish that this hypocrisy comes to an end, and for the church in Kenya today to realize the church of 1980s and 1990s is long gone, and this hypocrisy that has permitted our churches today should come to an end, and the church should pray its checks and balances properly without siding with one man that has been feeding them with the preferred public funds. Even Zacchaeus himself, our dear church in Kenya, Zacchaeus himself said, I want to see Jesus. Jesus said, you have seen me, and the only way to see me clearly is that you should return the taxes that you have been receiving doubles from the people. He said, Jesus Christ, I'm going to return tenfold. But Jesus Christ forgave Zacchaeus after Zacchaeus gave everything that he took from the poor and they paid with interest. For William Ruto, our conditions, this retribution that we want as the people of